When you are hated. The power of prayer, transforming hate into peace. Have you ever felt hated for no reason? Maybe you're just trying to live your life, be a good person, and spread kindness wherever you go, but still there are people who dislike you. They might be your neighbors, coworkers, or even strangers you pass on the street. It's a tough reality to face. No matter how good or honest you try to be, haters are always going to exist. Even Jesus, the embodiment of love and goodness, had enemies who despised him. So why should we be surprised when we face the same thing? The truth is, hatred is part of the human experience. But here's the good news. We don't have to fight back with anger or bitterness. Instead, we can turn to something much more powerful: prayer. Prayer has the strength to change hearts, even the hearts of those who wish us harm. In this article, we're going to dive deep into why haters exist, how their negativity affects us, and most importantly, how prayer can bring peace to our lives and transformation to theirs. This isn't about revenge or proving anyone wrong. It's about finding calm in the storm and trusting that goodness can win in the end. So, grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's explore this together. Why do haters hate? Let's start with the big question. Why do people hate? Sometimes it's jealousy. Maybe you're doing well at work, and a coworker can't stand seeing you succeed. Other times, it's misunderstanding. Someone might assume the worst about you without even knowing your story. And then there are those who just seem to carry anger in their hearts, looking for someone to blame. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who's just grumpy all the time? They snap at the cashier, honk at every car on the road, and glare at anyone who crosses their path. That kind of person might not even know why they're mad. They just are. I remember a time when I was walking my dog in the neighborhood. I waved at a neighbor I'd seen 100 times before, but this time he scowled and turned away. At first I wondered, what did I do? But then I realized it probably wasn't about me at all. Maybe he'd had a bad day, lost his job, or was fighting with his family. His anger spilled over onto me because I was there. That's how it works sometimes. Haters don't always hate us for who we are. They hate because of what's going on inside them. Even the Bible tells this isn't new. Jesus said, if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. John 15:18. If the most perfect person who ever lived faced enemies, then we're in good company, right? Whether it's a friend who gossips behind your back, a family member who criticizes everything you do, or a random person online leaving nasty comments, haters are everywhere. But here's the thing. We don't have to let their negativity define us. The weight of hate, and why we don't have to carry it. When someone hates you, it's easy to feel weighed down. You might start doubting yourself. Am I really a good person? Did I do something wrong? That's the trick of hate. It tries to steal your peace. I've been there. A few years ago, I had a coworker who seemed to have it out for me. No matter how hard I tried to be friendly, she'd roll her eyes or make snarky comments. It got to the point where I dreaded going to work. I'd lie awake at night, replaying every interaction, wondering how I could fix it. But then I realized something. Her hate wasn't my burden to carry. I couldn't control how she felt, but I could control how I responded. That's where prayer came in. Instead of stressing over her attitude, I started praying for her. Not big, fancy prayers, just simple ones like, God, please soften her heart, help her find peace. And you know what? Over time, things changed. She didn't become my best friend or anything, but the tension eased. She even smiled at me one day, which felt like a small miracle. That experience taught me something powerful. Hate might come our way, but we don't have to hold on to it. We can give it to God through prayer and let Him handle the rest. It's like unloading a heavy backpack after a long hike. You feel lighter, freer, and ready to keep going. Prayer. The quiet strength that changes everything. So what do we do when haters show up in our lives? Do we argue with them? Try to prove them wrong? Sometimes that's tempting, especially if they're spreading lies or hurting people we care about. But here's a better idea. We don't have to do anything except pray. That might sound too simple, but trust me, prayer is anything but weak. It's a quiet strength that can move mountains, or at least soften the hardest hearts. Think about it like this. Imagine your enemy as a locked door. You could bang on it, yell at it, or try to break it down, but that just leaves you exhausted. Prayer is like handing the key to God and letting Him open it in His time. He sees what's inside that person's heart, the pain, the fear, the struggles, and He knows how to reach them in a way we never could. I heard a story once about a woman named Sarah who lived next to a grumpy old man. He'd yell at her kids for playing too loud, complain about her flowers being too bright, yes, really, and even call the city about her dog barking. Sarah could have fought back. She had every right to be annoyed. But instead, she started praying for him every morning. She'd sit on her porch with her coffee and quietly ask God to bless him, heal whatever was hurting him, and bring him peace. Months went by, and nothing seemed to change. But one day, the man knocked on her door. He looked embarrassed and mumbled something about how her kids weren't so bad after all. Turns out he'd been lonely since his wife passed away, and all that anger was just grief in disguise. Sarah's prayers didn't just change him, they built a bridge between them. Last I heard, he even started bringing cookies to her kids. That's the power of prayer. It doesn't just stop hate, it turns it into something beautiful. Practical ways to pray for your enemies. If you're new to this idea, praying for someone who hates you might feel weird at first. I get it. It's not natural to wish good things for someone who's making your life harder, but that's exactly why it's so powerful. Here are a few simple ways to start. 1. Keep it short and honest. You don't need long, poetic prayers. Just say what's on your mind. God, I'm frustrated with this person. Please help them find peace and help me let go of this anger. Being real keeps it meaningful. 2. Focus on their needs, not their faults. Instead of praying, make them stop being a jerk. Try, give them joy today. Heal whatever's hurting them. It shifts your heart from resentment to compassion. 3. Pray consistently. Don't give up after one try. Make it a habit like brushing your teeth. Over time, you'll notice a difference, not just in them, but in you. 4. Picture them differently. As you pray, imagine them smiling, relaxed, or kind. It's not about pretending they're perfect. It's about seeing the potential for goodness in them. I tried this once with a guy who cut me off in traffic and then yelled at me like it was my fault. At first, I was fuming, but later, I prayed, God, I don't know what's going on in his life, but please give him a better day tomorrow. It didn't fix the moment, but it calmed me down. And who knows, maybe he did have a better day. The ripple effect of kindness through prayer. Here's something amazing about praying for your enemies. It doesn't just change them, it changes you too. When you pray for someone who's hurt you, your heart softens. You start to see them as human, not just as the bad guy. And that shift creates a ripple effect. Your peace spreads to your family, your friends, even strangers you meet. Think about the world we live in. Social media is full of arguments, road rage is everywhere, and people seem quicker to judge than to listen. What if more of us chose prayer over payback? Imagine a coworker who's rude to everyone suddenly getting a kind word and a silent prayer instead of a cold shoulder. Or a neighbor who complains all the time finding a note that says, I'm praying for you. Small acts like that, backed by prayer, can start a chain reaction of goodness. I saw this happen in my own family. My aunt had a falling out with her sister over something silly. Nobody even remembers what. For years, they didn't talk, but my aunt started praying for her every night, asking God to heal their relationship. One Christmas, Out of the blue, her sister called to say she missed her. They cried, laughed, and made up, all because prayer paved the way. It's not magic, it's faith in action. When prayer feels hard, and that's okay. Let's be real, praying for haters isn't always easy. Some days you might not feel like it. Maybe the person's hurt you too deep, or their hate feels too unfair. That's okay. God doesn't expect you to be perfect. He just asks you to try. Even a tiny prayer, said through gritted teeth, is a step forward. I remember a time when a friend betrayed me. She shared something private I'd told her, and it got back to me through a bunch of whispers. I was so mad I couldn't even look at her. Praying for her felt impossible. I didn't want to. But one night, I managed a quiet, "God help her." That's all I've got. It wasn't pretty, but it was honest. And over time, that little prayer grew. I started forgiving her, even if we never became friends again. Prayer didn't fix everything, but it fixed me. If you're struggling, start small. You don't have to feel warm and fuzzy about it. Just give it to God and let Him take over. He's got a way of turning even our weakest efforts into something strong. Trusting God to transform evil into good. At the heart of all this is trust. When we pray for our enemies, we're saying, "God, I believe you can handle this better than I can." And He can. The Bible is full of stories about transformation. Think of Saul, a guy who hated Christians so much he hunted them down. One encounter with God, and he became Paul, a man who spread love and hope everywhere. That's what prayer taps into, the possibility that even the worst hater can change. Does it always happen? Not in the way we expect. Some people might stay bitter no matter how much we pray. But that's not the point. The point is, we're doing our part to bring light into the darkness. We're trusting that God's goodness is bigger than anyone's hate. And even if we don't see the results, we get peace. And that's worth everything. Living with peace in a world of haters. So where does this leave us? In a world full of haters, next door, at work, online, we don't have to fight fire with fire. We can choose prayer instead. It's not about being weak or letting people walk all over us. It's about being strong in a way that lasts. It's about believing that kindness, faith, and love can outshine any negativity thrown our way. Next time someone glares at you, gossips about you, or cuts you off in traffic, take a deep breath and say a quick prayer. Not just for them, but for you, to stay calm, to stay kind, to stay you. Because here's the truth. Haters can't take your peace unless you let them. And with prayer, you never have to. Let's end with this. You're not alone in this. We all face enemies, big and small. But we've got something stronger than hate. We've got faith. So keep praying, keep trusting, and watch how God turns even the messiest situations into moments of grace. That's the real power of prayer. And it's yours to use every single day. After watching, remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and comment on the video. I have many good videos to share. Learn to give, and God will give peace to you and your family.